Hello student, welcome to Asopa IAS. In this class of Assam Geography, we are going to cover this topic, animal biodiversity of Assam. So in this class of animal biodiversity of Assam, we are going to see the different types of animals, the important animals that we can find in our state. So first of all, before going to animal biodiversity, we have to understand what is the meaning of biodiversity. See, biodiversity is composed of two words. One is bio, one is diversity. Now, the meaning of bio is life. Diversity means variations. So, different types of life that we can see in our nature. So, biodiversity normally we can find in natural habitat, for example, forest, wildlife sanctuaries, then national parks. We can find different types of variations in plant life and animal life. And here this biodiversity is connected with the climate of the particular place. And the climate of Assam, the climate of Assam decides the particular biodiversity that we have in our state. See, the climate of Assam is normally tropical and monsoon climate. The climate of Assam is tropical monsoon climate that you can find all over the country. This is the same climate, tropical and monsoon climate. Means we have a wet summer and a cool dry winter. When in a particular part of the year we can find a wet summer and again a cool winter, dry winter during a particular part of the year. See, and again we have a relatively higher average of annual temperature. On an average, the annual temperature is high in this particular climate. Then again we have a very high amount of annual rainfall on an average, especially in the month of monsoon, we can find a very heavy rainfall. So overall, we have a very good temperature. Rainfall is high enough, means good enough for the support of different types of plants and animals life. This particular climate with high humidity, it support a luxuriant growth of a vegetation. Vegetation means plants. Different types of plants is supported by our climate, and this different types of plants in their nature, we call it natural vegetations. We also call it forest. See, in the forest, the forest provides suitable habitat to the different types of animals. So in Assam, we can find a variety of animals. The animals that we can find in the geographic regions of Himalaya, Chinese, and Indian and Southeast Asian regions, these animals are also seen in the state of Assam. Since our vegetation, that is the forest areas, are well supported by the climate, and this forest also support the suitable, it provides a suitable habitat for the different types of animals. So we in this forest, in the different forest, along with wildlife sanctuaries and national park for protected forest, we can find in different part of the state. In these areas, this luxuriant vegetation, it support the different types of animals. Along with that, Assam is also regarded as a part of global biodiversity hotspot. Now, what is the meaning of biodiversity hotspot? These are regions which are very rich in biodiversity. At the same time, there are many plants and animals that are endemic to these regions. Endemic means these organisms are found only in that particular area. In no other areas we can find these organisms. So biodiversity hotspot means Assam is also a part of the biodiversity hotspot that you can find in some part of the world. So we can find different types of endemic species of plants and animals in the Assam. And it is also part of the Eastern Himalayas endemic bird area. See, Eastern Himalayas endemic bird area means this is a particular area, this is a region where this Eastern Himalayas is a region where we can find some bird. These birds are not found or seen in other part of the earth. That's why it is called endemic. Endemic means these birds can be seen only in Eastern Himalayas, and Assam is also part of this area. So these endemic birds we can find in Assam also. Then again in Assam, plains are also a different endemic bird area. The plains of Assam is a different endemic bird area. In the plains of Assam, we can find some birds that are not visible in other part of the earth. So we can see here endemic means there are many varieties of these birds we have seen here that is visible here or we can observe it in the state of Assam. It shows the richness of the state in ecology. The richness of the state in ecology means the different types of forest, plants, life that is supporting, and the natural resources that are supporting these different animals. So when I say animal biodiversity, again we have to go back to the different types of animals, starting from mammals. Mammals are different types of huge, from huge to small mammals we can find all around the earth. And when we talk about Assam, here also we can find different types of mammals like water buffalo, elephant. These are different types of mammals we can see in Assam. On an average in Assam, you can find as many as 230 forms of mammals. We can see in Assam around 230 forms of mammals, and we have also identified around 175 species of mammals of different types. And all over the country, whatever mammals we can see all over the country, 60% of the mammalian species we can find in Assam itself. The 60% of mammalian species from all over the country are we can observe in the state of Assam. The 60% of all the species that we can see in our country, India. And here some of the species like Hulok gibbon and golden langur, they are the representative species of the state. This Hulok gibbon and langur, golden langur. They are very important from examination point of view also. See, Hulok gibbon and golden langur are found in different parts of our state, and mostly their habitat is divided by presence of different topographical features, including rivers. As we know, in Assam we have very small and big rivers. Mainly, mostly we can see small rivers, tributaries of Brahmaputra. So these rivers actually form a boundary between this different animal life. Means in a particular part of the river you can find a particular animal, there is dominance of a particular animal, and in the other part of the river we can find dominance of other animal. So there are some large river has formed effective barriers and for the spread of the mammals. Now the Brahmaputra here is acting like an effective barrier here in the distribution of the Hulok gibbon and the golden langur. The Hulok gibbon we can see in the southern bank of the Brahmaputra. This Hulok gibbon we can see mostly in the southern bank of the Brahmaputra, and the northern bank of the Brahmaputra we can find this golden langur. Now about rhinoceros, as we know, Assam is very well known for the Asian rhinoceros. 90% of the Asian rhinoceros we see in Assam. We have observed them in Assam, along with a species pygmy hog. Pygmy hog, you can see this one. This is a species of pygmy hog, and we can find it in the state of Assam. The species of pygmy hog is the only species in the genera Porcula. There is only one species in this genera Porcula, and within that we can find this small animal called pygmy hog in the state of Assam. So we can see around 90% of the Asian rhinoceros and the entire population of pygmy hog at present we can see in Assam. The state also has a different variety of large animals like water buffalo, elephant, tiger, leopard, golden langur. So elephant population is also very huge in Assam, and water buffalo is also famous in the state. These are water buffaloes. Then tigers we can see, leopard and golden langur. So these are very important animals, variety of animals, along with pygmy hog and rhinoceros. So from the examination point of view, you have to see the different areas, wildlife sanctuaries and national parks where these particular animals dominate, where they are found mostly. Rhinoceros, pygmy hog. For example, they may ask you the density of rhinoceros is maximum in which sanctuary or which national park. In which national park we can find pygmy hog, where we can see elephant or leopard, golden langur, all these things. And in our classes, we'll discuss all these things. In future, we are going to discuss all these things. So these are varieties we can find mostly Asian rhinoceros, pygmy hog, water buffalo, elephants, tiger, leopards, and golden langur. They are very important species that we can see in the state of Assam. And then again, avifauna. Avifauna means bird. When we talk about the avifauna, Assam is also rich in avifauna, different types of bird, because of presence of terrestrial. In the terrestrial part, we can find many swamps. Swampy areas are there. And in the different seasons, we can also see some migratory bird in search of resources food resources, and also for in different breeding seasons, we can see the migratory birds, they come from other part of the world and they visit the state in a different part, in a different season. In different seasons, we can find different migratory birds. And overall, we can find in Assam around 958 species and subspecies of birds. Means these are varieties of birds we can see in the state of Assam, and out of which around 208 are migrant. Means it comes during winter seasons to the state, mostly for breeding purposes and for in search of resources. Then again, when we talk about reptiles, we have around 187 reptiles, and it is represented by the crocodiles, turtles, tortoise, lizards, and snakes. So these are animals. They represent the reptile population in the state of Assam. And when we see around the state, we can see beels, large number of beels we can find. We can find swampy areas, marshy areas nearby the rivers. And in these places, the population of amphibians are large in number. In these marshy areas, we can find a large number of amphibian populations. So compared to the other part of the country or other part of the world, we have a limited number of population of amphibians, but the number of species is very large. Means the variety of species, different types of species of amphibians that we can find in Assam is very large, but overall the population may be less compared to other part of the earth. Now, among all the amphibians, the giant frogs are very large in population. The giant frogs are very large in population in our state. So amphibians are mostly represented by frogs. We have seen variety of species we have observed in the state, and mostly in large population you can find the giant frogs. Then again, when we talk about fish fauna, see the Assamese cuisine is represented by different types of fishes, local fishes like boroi, kawai, and magur. So this kind of fishes, they are part of Assamese culture, food culture, and they are also found in different part of the states. So mostly it is represented by the fish fauna is represented by the fish of boroi, kawai, and magur. These are the fishes you can see in our state. So the hot and humid climate of the state has supported this variety of animals. The hot and humid climate. As we know, with increase in temperature and the presence of water, the rate of reaction increases. And because of that, the biochemical reaction is fast. Because of this increase in biochemical reactions, we have seen evolution of variety of animals and organisms in the state of Assam in different geological time period. And see, this hot and humid climate at present, they are supporting variety of organisms, including plants and different animals. And at the same time, altitude also has a role to play in creating these differences. Altitude, as we know, with increase in height, the temperature reduce. The temperature decreases with increase in height. So different height in the hilly areas, especially if you go to Karbi Anglong and the different hilly areas in Assam, we can find in the hilly regions, in the upper part of the hilly regions, the temperature is low, and the middle part it will be on average temperature, and in the lower part it will be high temperature. So based on the temperature changes, we can again see variety of plants and animals. Variety of animals and organisms we can find in different areas. So altitude is another factor that gives rise to variations. So altitude, hot and humid climate, it provides an ideal habitat for almost all sorts of tropical and temperate flora and fauna. Flora means plant, fauna means animals. So variety of tropical plant and animals we can find in the state of Assam. So with this short video, I have tried to cover some portions of the animal biodiversity. And if you have liked this video, please let us know. We'll come with more videos of Assam geography. Thank you.